And thanks for joining us here on PM Express. Tonight, we're talking about the National Health Insurance Scheme. We're going to have a conversation with the CEO of the National Health Insurance Authority. Why are we having this conversation? Remember last year, we ran a series here on Joy News. We called it the dialysis crisis. It was a time when those who were living with the kidney diseases were agitating because the cost of dialysis treatment was so exorbitant that many of them were dying at that time. And also, of course, Korle Bu also then wasn't able to provide the consumables that was required, and so they closed down the dialysis unit there, and it became a national crisis. And then we actually got a first understanding and appreciation of the extent of the problem, because it could be any one of us, those of you watching me right now, and myself, right? And so we've been talking about this for a year. And so we heard in the last 1 week that the National Health Insurance Authority, the government, have decided to do something about this problem. And between June and December 2024 this year, a period of 6 months, if you are one of those under the category that has been specified, you will get free dialysis treatment. And so let's break it down. And then many of you are asking questions, especially for families with individuals who have kidney challenges. You have a lot of questions, and tonight we'll try and get answers for you. So you get 8 free sessions per month for patients under 18 years of age, right? And if you are over 60 years, you also are covered for all the sessions that you require. That's the first thing you need to know. So you're looking at the age bracket. Anywhere between 0 to 17, you're fine, you're covered. If you're not 18 yet, you're covered. If you're above 60, you're covered. We'll ask why. Why this bracket when we sit down for a conversation? And then you get 2 free sessions per month for patients from ages that are between 18 and 59 years old. Again, why just 2 free sessions? We'll get some clarity for you. And again, if you are one of those patients who receive your treatment at Korle Bu Teaching Hospital, you get 50% off 2 sessions per month, right? Again, why are we making an exception for Korle Bu Teaching Hospital? We'll get some clarity for you because we know the majority of you prefer to go to Korle Bu. And remember, in the last year when we ran in the series, a lot of the kidney patients told us that they find that the Korle Bu treatment, it is world-class, and so they want to go there. Okay, so can the state afford more, and how do you sustain this is a question that we'll ask. Talking about sustainability also links directly to how much this is going to cost. As you see on your screens there, it is in excess of 4 million cedis for 6 months. What happens after 6 months? We'll get some clarity from the boss of the National Health Insurance Authority. But this is the breakdown in terms of the cost as has been allocated to the various age brackets, as I've explained before. So 2.3 million is what it's going to cost for taking care of those below 18 years of age and above 60 years of age, right? And the numbers there are something that we need to look at. What if, because now it's free, many more people come forward within that bracket? Again, has the NHIS taking cognizance of that possible likely fact that may play out as they roll this out, and how will they cater for that? And I'm also curious, can corporate Ghana contribute to this particular initiative also to expand the 4 million plus that they require to do this for the next 6 months? And is the NHIS reaching out to them, or can they find money elsewhere from the state's own coffers to do this? And again, if you look at the 1859 bracket, and if you take away the Korle Bu picture out of it, and as you know, Korle Bu is 50% for 2 sessions a month. For some reasons, we'll come to pretty shortly when we sit down for a conversation. You're talking about that bracket, the cost of just 1 million cedis, right? And then you have the 18 to 59 bracket. Again, if you put Korle Bu in that bracket, because Korle Bu has 50%, that again is going to cost you 1 million cedis. So if you put that together, just in excess of 4 million cedis, many will say that's quite a small amount of money that the state can't afford. But again, you need to put this in context, right? This is the first time that the National Health Insurance Authority is making provision for this. And normally when you're introducing policies, you want to be gradual. You use 6 months to try and learn and appreciate the numbers properly. As I said, the one possibility is that many more people will come forward. And then you see what you can take. You can restructure it to the 6 months and say we can expand it even beyond the 6 months. So that is a possible consideration for the National Health Insurance Authority and the government, for which reason they're doing this in the first 6 months of the year. So that is important, and I want to emphasize that. We did a series, and the government was in our studios here. We put hard questions to them. Promises were made. This promise has been kept for the next 6 months. The questions, rightly so, about what happens in the 6 months, we will ask them tonight and get some answers for you too. But that's not the only conversation we'll have tonight, because the National Health Insurance Scheme is one that we all contribute to. We have a parliamentary approval that has come for this particular fund, arrangement for the NHIS to use the 2 million cedis that has been approved by Parliament to back this up. And then they themselves have gone into their own corporate social responsibility budget to say, let's add 2.4 million cedis more to it. Well, if a twist comes up immediately, can they do more from their CSR budget? Can they do more? Is 2.4 million cedis all they can do? We'll ask the question for you tonight here on PM Express. But one of the things that I want to do also is to help you know where you want to go for the dialysis treatment if you want to be covered. And that's why the slide behind me is important. You want to go to Kompanoti Teaching Hospital. You want to go to the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, Ifeanyi Quanta Regional Hospital. It's one of the hospitals that we featured in our series, by the way, and many people go to that particular facility. So if you're in that particular part of the country, you want to go there. You want to go to the Whole Teaching Hospital and the Tamale Teaching Hospital. And I sort of see why these hospitals were selected. So if you divide a country into zones, you have one hospital covering one zone. And so you can go there. If you're in the northern part of the country, obviously, then you're looking at the Tamale Teaching Hospital. If you're in the middle belt, Ifeanyi Quanta will serve well. Cape Coast also will serve well. If you're in the southern part, obviously, you're talking about the Whole Teaching Hospital. Korle Bu is there nonetheless, if you want to just benefit from the 50%. So that is something that you can play with. And just for your information, as you go out there chasing down what you require to get your dialysis treatment. But let's place the National Health Insurance Authority in the bigger context, though. Because whilst they do this, which is laudable, and covering part of the cost of dialysis treatment, what is the big picture for the National Health Insurance Scheme? And maybe that's why they are not in a position yet to do more. Today we heard from Parliament that the Finance Ministry owes them 2.4 billion cedis. When I heard the figure, first I thought it can't be right that it's 2.4 billion. It turns out it's actually right, because I heard the chairman of the Finance Committee, the chairman of the Health Committee make the point that they met the Finance Ministry and they owe them that much. That is jaw-dropping, right? And the committee is asking the Finance Ministry to pay this up immediately, because, we contribute to the National Health Insurance Scheme. We contribute from these sources. You have the National Health Insurance Levy. I pay that. You do so. You do too. When we pay our SNP contributions, they take 2.5% from there, again, to add to the National Health Insurance Scheme. So when you are sick, you can go there and get health care for some of the items that are covered under the arrangement, under the National Health Insurance Scheme. Then we also look at what they themselves will use the money to invest in. They get some returns in there, and that also helps them build some reserves. Then you have the premium that people pay. I pay too. My family, I make sure that everybody else pay. Because once I'm paying the taxes, they must enjoy it. If you don't have the card, then you struggle. So I ask them to pay. So again, they're getting money from that. And then the government will also allocate a fair bit to it also. So once you're paying all these amounts, I expect that when the Finance Ministry gets that into the consolidated fund, they must, by a law, release that to the National Health Insurance. So when I hear that they're owing 2.4 billion, how did they accrue that debt? Is it that the NHIS gave them a loan? We need to clarify that exactly. Is it that they took the monies, all these, and they somehow have not paid the NHIS? We need to get clarity on that. And meanwhile, when are they going to pay? Because if you look at their revenue streams, if you do 2017 to 2023, you're looking at 25 billion. That's a lot. If you put it in dollar terms, it's very, very small, depreciating cedi. Because a lot of the claims that they are paying, the medicines, most of them not manufactured here. So you are going to be priced sometimes in dollar terms, and 2.25 billion, it's a lot of money, right? But if you look at the period, it's a long period to raise 2.25 billion. The question we need to ask tonight is it time to reform this? Increase premium, increase the rates that we pay under the tax handles that I mentioned, for example. Where is the NHIS and this new administration in thinking about bringing this for us to debate, whether it's time to increase what we pay as contributions to the NHIS? But if you look at the graph here, the revenue has been going up, right? It's a good thing, is it not, from the National Health Insurance Levy. It's been going up, and the Finance Ministry tells us that. If you look at where we started in 2017 to where we are now, of 7.9 billion, that is good. But are they getting all of this? And are they getting it on time is a key question that we need to ask. And then also, you also look at the revenue from SNP contributions. That is, for me, if you look at 2020 to 2021, that's the last data we have available. It's a dip. I don't know what has happened in 2020, 2022 and 2023, right? I don't have that data. Maybe the NHIS CEO has that, he will share with us. But the last time it went down a bit from 932 million to 761 million, right? So again, we'll see if this has improved, but you need that to improve, because if it improves, then it's in good health. And so when you're not well, and you go to the hospital, they'll pay the claims on time. So that is the big picture about reforms, about potential of increasing the premiums that we pay, but also increasing the rates as specified under the law. My guests will join me for a conversation. We'll sit down with the CEO of the National Health Insurance Authority. At some point, I'll bring in the renal patients to also ask him a few questions about this and how they can benefit fully, etc., so we can get some clarity for you. At the end of the day, you just need to know how to benefit from this arrangement that the government has put out. After this break, we'll sit down for a conversation with the CEO of the National Health Insurance Authority. And PMSS is always brought to you by Syntex Tanks. It is strong, it is tough, it is a tank for you if you want to store water that will last, because the tank itself is durable. It has the double layer, and it also comes bespoke because you can order any color, any size of preference. And they also have 7 years warranty. Wherever you are in this country, you can find them too. Call them 0244 335 168 or shop online at syntexgh.com. My guest tonight joining me for a conversation is Dr. Da Costa Abuaji, the CEO of the National Insurance Authority, and he's in the studio with me. And Doc, here at Joy News, we did this campaign around this last year, and we brought it back again just to follow up on the promises that were made. One of the biggest stories in the campaign was the story of Priscilla, the 16-year-old who we featured last year. And knowing that the current policy you are rolling out covers her was one of the things that struck a lot of us when we had the announcement, also considering that Priscilla passed on shortly after she spoke to us. This is Priscilla's story.
The humming sound of medical equipment here at the renal units of the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital welcoming patients. It's a Tuesday morning, and 15-year-old Priscilla Santi is being wheeled into the renal unit here.
The doctors told me I have to be on a machine, and I have to be on that machine either twice or thrice a week. And my mom and dad do not have money either. We have become miserable. I am appealing to the government to help me live through this. Otherwise, I may die. I want the government to support me so I can live to fulfill my dream of becoming a nurse.
The burden of her illness has not only taken a toll on her fragile body, but has shattered her world due to the family's precarious financial situation.
They said that could be 3.5.
They say every section is 350 cedis. And this in addition to getting blood and other medication.
Priscilla's mother, Ruth Ofori, has been a pillar of strength for her daughter and is determined to ensure her only daughter lives. With teary eyes, she shares the story of her family's headache, struggling to cope with the emotional and financial strain that comes with caring for her only daughter battling renal failure.
From the doctors, if I keep on missing this section, I may lose my daughter, and I need the help of the government.
And that's exactly what happened, because Priscilla died not too long after this particular interview was done, and we heard her story last year. And indeed, we dedicated our thought leadership event that we did on the back of this to her. And just in the last, few days, you had announced that if Priscilla were alive today, at her age, she gets the dialysis treatment she so desperately needed last year for free. And there are many, many Priscillas out there in Ghana.
Yes, thank you, Evans. Let me extend greetings to all Ghanaians. It's true, if Priscilla were to be alive today, he would have been enjoying 8 sessions of dialysis per month, free of charge, under a special arrangement from the National Health Insurance Authority. And also, let me say that those who are aged 60 and above will also enjoy 8 sessions of free dialysis, free of charge from the NHIA. So it's just a matter that we are sad by the fact that Priscilla is dead, but like you said, there are many Priscillas out there who will benefit from this service and will be saved.
And so, under 18 or includes 18?
It includes 18, in fact, and this is where we issued an apology. The diagram was not that clear. It should be 18 and below.
Okay.
And it's 60 and above.
Okay. Okay. So that then covers all those in the bracket.
Yes.
But then also there's this age bracket in the middle.
Yes.
That is from 19, I believe, to 59.
59.
And for those, you have a special arrangement for them?
Yes. For those between the ages of 19 and 59, we do have special arrangement for them based on the facilities that they are going to. So I'll take Kolebu. If you are going to Kolebu, Kolebu is already benefiting from a philanthropic support of 380. So we are only giving them 50% of the 2 sessions for equity purposes, so that they will be equal, or no, they will be at par with the other facilities like Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, Tamale Teaching Hospital, Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital, and Efia Kwanta. They will be getting 2 sessions free of charge per month at a cost of 982 Ghana cedis, whilst Kolebu get 491.
Okay, but that means that for those going to Kolebu, they will have 6 sessions that they will have to foot themselves.
The philanthropist supports them anyway.
Okay.
So everybody will have...
For all 6?
So what it means is that everybody will now have 6 sessions to pay for. That is, if you are within the ages of 19 and 59, because already you are going to pay for the 8 sessions anyway. But for the philanthropist, Kolebu was actually going to pay for the 8 sessions. But my understanding is that the philanthropist supports them for 2 sessions at a cost of 380 per section. So for this reason, we are topping it up for them to get the 491. Do you get it?
And what went into the selection of the hospitals where people can go to get the intervention, to benefit from the intervention?
Okay, thank you so much. I think, so we, once we had the approval from Parliament, we set up a committee led by Dr. Nsiansari with the patients' representatives on. One major, he was actually on the committee, and with all the CEOs of the teaching hospitals. And it became clear where the numbers were coming from. And as you rightly indicated, it was segregated by north-south divide. So if you check from the hospitals, I think each of the north, south, and middle, they all have representation in terms of how the selection has actually gone. And these are places that they've been going to anyway. So we do have the numbers of the patients who actually go there. And these were provided by the CEOs and the medical directors.
Was it purely based on the geographic location of these hospitals?
No, I think it's based on, yeah, I think I would say geography was part, but I mean, you know, because dialysis is a special disease, it's not every facility that provides these machines. So, and also you're looking for quality. Where in the country do they provide the best in terms of this dialysis? And the hospitals that we obviously selected were the ones given to us by the patients themselves. So we did not select it for them. They said that this is where our patients have actually been going to. So, and they form an association. So, I mean, like I said, the good news was that they were part of it. We never let them out. So the patients
themselves, the Renal Patients Association, they were part of the decision-making process?
They were part of the decision-making process. And they were, to the latter, they were actually part of it.
And the question about funding had come in. You are contributing in excess of 2 million from your CSR, and then Parliament also approved 2 million for you for 6 months. Why 6 months? Why not permanently for the next?
Okay, thank you. So now let me obviously go back to when we went to Parliament. So, I mean, at the time that we were going to Parliament, dialysis had actually become very topical in the country.
Was this last year?
Well, I think I was just appointed, I think, in February.
Okay.
So in February, dialysis was still topical in the country. So Parliament actually raised the issue that as CEO, what is your vision in terms of what you want to bring on board? Because you were not there when the budget was being prepared. So I did 1 or 2 consultations with government, and government said, well, can you cover dialysis? So we're looking at how to obviously cover dialysis. So we made a proposal to Parliament that if they could give us some seed money for us to see if we can cover, obviously, an aspect of dialysis in. So we started from the Health Committee. But the point is, because the budget had already gone through, obviously, as in November and the appropriation, and also it became very difficult. So we were looking at where to slash, and so we just said, okay, well, from our corporate, you can take maybe 2 million from the corporate so that we look at it.
Because that already had been approved.
That had already been approved. So it became very difficult. So what we did was Parliament said, okay, you can have this 2 million to start with. Then mid-year, use it as a pilot, and mid-year, let's see how it will go. So immediately we informed the Finance Ministry, and they also made that money available to us.
The 2 million?
The 2 million. So what we did was to set up a committee to look at the disbursement of these 2 million. And the committee came up with, obviously, various scenarios to how we can spend the 2 million. Now, if you look at the Parliament document, it said for the needy. And if it's for the needy, children and elderly are obviously to be considered first. So we looked at the children on dialysis.
When you say the needy, though, it doesn't necessarily define
the
age bracket.
Vulnerable.
Exactly, because somebody can be under 18 and has a very wealthy father.
You are right. So it says needy and vulnerable. So we looked at the vulnerable group. I meant to say vulnerable group. So the vulnerable groups are obviously the children and the elderly. So we were looking at the 2 million. What can it cover? So when we did the analysis and we saw that it could cover only for the children and those above the ages of 60 and the 60 themselves, we said that, okay, so can we also from the NHIA look within and see if we can add on to the budget? So again, we went to our corporate social responsibility budget and we realized that, well, on administrative arrangement, because most of the decisions on corporate social responsibility is about the CEO and how they can use in funding some of the health projects. So we looked at it and said that, no, we could actually do about 2.4 more to support the other category, the other needy patients on between the ages of 19 and 59. So all we did was to request the data from Kolebu in terms of who are those patients being supported by the philanthropists. Because already, if you are being supported by the philanthropists, you are classified as needy. That was the explanation we were given. So once we had the list, then we noted that we could only support them with 2 sessions at 50% as a top-up for what they are already receiving. So we also requested the list from Komfanoche and all the facilities that I've mentioned. Then we noted that for equity purposes, we can cover those patients at 2 sessions free for a month.
So in total, how many patients in all are you taking care of?
In fact, it's about 500 and something. So
and these are patients who are registered and known to these hospitals?
Yes.
We are absolutely certain that we are not leaving other patients behind in the computations we've done.
In fact, if today the leader of the dialysis group tells me that there are patients here, I will actually look after them. Because at the end of the day, for the children, it's for all the children aged 18 and below. And for the adults, it is for the 60 and above.
Do you anticipate the potential that the numbers will go up, the numbers that you're working with?
Okay, so like I said, we still have mid-year. We will go to Parliament in mid-year. That's why data is very important. So once I have the data, we will just see what we can do. But the fact of the matter is that, you see, when you are starting such a project or a program, there's always a pilot phase, okay? So to me, we will learn from this and obviously look at it from, from a sustainability point of view. But what I'm clear in my mind is that governments, based on where I sit, do have a clear, comprehensive plan after the 6 months.
So that's the question then. You talked about mid-year. Is it your expectation that in the mid-year budget, more funds will be available for this?
Of course, if we have pressing needs, we will tell Parliament. And as we projected, they are expecting to get about 7.9 billion. And they are giving us only 6-point-something billion. So it means there could be room for more funds to be allocated. But to me, it's not even about the allocation of the funds, it's the releases of the funds. Because you can be allocated the whole 10 billion, yet you may not be able to get even half of it. So the fact is the releases that are important than the allocation.
So after 6 months, what happens after 6 months?
I believe that after 6 months, there will be a comprehensive plan. So now currently, the actuarial studies, as you said, is obviously ongoing. And you see, the key point is kidney disease is not the only chronic disease in this country, okay? There are a lot more. So do you say that you are focusing on only, obviously, the kidney disease, or you are looking at it holistically in terms of other chronic diseases. So my advice, of which government knows about this, of which we are working together, is that we should look at it in totality. The whole chronic, how do we fund chronic diseases, including dialysis? Not only that, how do we start from the basis by introducing something that will reduce these chronic diseases and the cost burden? So the National Health Insurance Scheme, by next month, will be rolling out what we call the preventive healthcare as part of the claims, the claims budget. The reason being that we cannot have a disease national health insurance scheme. So far, since its inception, we have been focusing on curative and services.
So you want to focus on preventive?
Preventive, because that is the only way you can reduce your cost burden. And you can look across the world. Preventive healthcare is an integral part of the healthcare delivery.
Yeah, and that's definitely something we'll explore a bit more. But back to the question about the 6 months and what happens after that. As we speak right now, you don't have a plan for after 6 months?
No, it's not true. We don't have a plan for 6 months. So what is happening is that we'll use this as learning to obviously see what we can do. By that time, the actuarials would have been ready. But what I know is that government do have a comprehensive plan.
So,
wait. Government do have a comprehensive plan that government will announce.
Can you categorically assure renal patients in this country that after 6 months, this will continue?
It may even be expanded. It's not only to continue. It may even be expanded. But the point I want to make is that it may be expanded to other chronic diseases, not only kidney diseases, because we are looking at it in totality, not for only kidney or renal diseases.
Which other chronic diseases are you looking at specifically?
Well, there are a lot of chronic diseases. As I sit here, I can't tell you this and this and this. But what I know is that, obviously, I believe that if we start from, for example, hypertension, diabetes, and body mass, that's the weights, as from the preventive approach, I think it will really help a lot. But I don't want to give you specific to which chronic disease so that they also start rushing on me that you have to. So I can't do that. But what I know is that we are looking at it in totality. It's not a case that we are only going to look at kidney diseases. We are going to look at other diseases.
So for clarity, you're actually looking at expanding this beyond dialysis after the 6 months. Based on the lessons you've learned for the next 6 months.
Government do have a comprehensive plan from where I sit to not only focus on kidney diseases, but other chronic diseases.
And we'll see this play out. So we're talking about
in the next 6 months, we will see this play out.
So at the end of December, beginning January, you hope that your plan is to expand this beyond dialysis. That's your plan, based on what the actuarial study will tell you.
I'm saying that government, if I say government, it's not only the NHIS. Obviously, government do have a sustainable and clear plan to support people with dialysis and other chronic diseases.
You want to elaborate on that plan a bit more?
Well, I think we shouldn't rush into this. Let's just wait within the 6 months what we can do within the National Health Insurance Scheme. We have just set up the plan that we think that we will learn from it as the actuarials continue to obviously be carried out, and we will learn from it, and we believe that it will not end in the 6 months.
I want to bring in a man that you've encountered in this process. Is the president of the Renal Patients Association, joins us right now. Thank you very much, Prof, for your time here on PM Express. I know you've been engaging already. This has now been rolled out. The CEO of the NHIA is with me here, and you have some questions for him. Please feel free to interact with him on this, especially as we roll out Bafo Kojua Ahinkra, who is the president of the Renal Patients Association. We spoke to you quite a lot last year, and even this year when we did the year on. What are your key questions around this now that this has started?
Thank you very much, Evans, and hello to my boss, Dr. Acosta. First and foremost, let me say we thank them. We appreciate what they've done, even though we wish they could have done more of what they've done. Once again, I was part of the committee that sat on this whole issue that we came out with what is being announced now. For now, all that I can say is that we thank them, we appreciate, but like I said, we are praying it's not going to end after the 6 months. And then we are saying also that we beg them, the 2 sessions they are giving the middle age, because we are in the in-between. They should try and come up a little bit more up for us so that it will cushion us, still. It's not that easy, but like I said, we can't say much. But for now, it's a start. It's a start. We pray and believe that something more comprehensive will be done. For now, I think this is what I would like to say about it.
Yeah, his point about do something more about the age bracket in the middle between 90 and 59.
Evans, I think for me, it's a start. I wish where I sit, I could do more. But the fact is, you see, like I said, we just don't spend our money. You have to go to Parliament for approval, okay? To the extent that we have gone to our corporate social responsibility to allocate another 2.4 billion to the 2 million that was given to us by Parliament means that we have actually stretched. But again, let's see what happens in the mid-year.
You make that point, though. Are you making deliberate representations with the Finance Ministry so that the mid-year budget, I know the mid-year budget is currently being developed and finalized. Have you made presentations to them on the need to
I'm in close contact with the Minister of Finance to see how best we can support not only dialysis, but chronic diseases in the country.
What have been the feedback as far as the media budget is concerned when you had asked for more?
It's looking positive.
So you expect some additional funding to this particular initiative in the media budget?
Let's see what happens.
Okay.
I do not want to commit the Ministry of Finance when they have, because they also have some work to be done. So definitely we will make a case, depending on whether they can absorb it within this year or next year, or looking at it in totality, as I've explained to you, to see how best they can support. But the emphasis should be made that our focus should be on chronic diseases, including kidney disease, not only kidney disease.
And Mr. Ahinkra, are your members already across the country going to these facilities and receiving the free treatment? What has been the experience since this started?
Oh, so far so good. Some people are enjoying it. Some people too have some few challenges. But I'm sure by close of tomorrow, those rectifications will be done. Per my source, some are enjoying it. Some too are having some few challenges.
What
but
challenges?
Like I said,
what
we've
challenges?
already communicated.
The boss is here. What are the challenges?
Oh, it's not like a challenge per se. Like I'm saying, the announcement just made, some of the facilities are just saying that they don't have any official communique to do the free dialysis for them. But I'm sure, like I'm saying, the communications have come out and the writing have been done. So I'm sure by close of day tomorrow, this ratification should be done so that it will roll out straightforward.
Okay, and that is an issue in terms of the teething problems when you roll out a new policy. This started when exactly? When did it take effect?
In fact, it started 1st of June, but it was a Sunday. So we said 3rd of June. The fact is, he's actually right. Because the CEOs of those hospitals were part of the committee, and the decision was actually taken, letters have actually gone out, but I was not expecting that, obviously, anyone will pay for it. But for those 18 and below and 60 and above who have paid for, we will make sure that their monies are refunded to them fully because it is free. We will continue to, today I was at Kolebu Teaching Hospital and I met with the medical director and the head of the renal unit. We made this clear. In fact, they appreciate it a lot. Like you say, Oliver Trace will always ask for more. So all they are saying is that they are appreciative, but they are asking for more. And they are also saying that they are prepared to help governments in coming up or contributing to the sustainability of it. So we are looking forward to working with all stakeholders to make sure that chronic diseases are funded and sustained.
And let's move on to other important matters, as I indicated. Ms. Ahinka, thank you very much for giving us that a quick update on the experience going around the country and your members enjoying it. You've raised a question and you're saying that anybody who has been charged, if 18 and below and 60 and above, you'll refund.
Yes.
You'll refund.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And by the way, where should they go for the refund?
Oh, so it will still be, because we'll give it to the hospitals to give it back to them.
To them.
So okay. we do it through the hospital. The good thing is we have the numbers. If it's like we do have the data, and the names are attached to the data, so we know them. So it wouldn't be difficult at all.
If somebody comes who isn't part of the list you have already?
That is what I said, that you see, then we will have to obviously, I'm sure they will be part of the list, because if you see the way the list has been made, if you are on chronic dialysis, you know.
Yeah, but you know, between now and December, many people...
So you are talking about new patients.
New patients.
That's what I'm saying. So we consider new
patients coming in.
So we've told them that if they have new patients, they should let us know, because obviously now we've budgeted based on the numbers we have.
Yes, but my question is that when a new patient walks in today, he still gets a free treatment, free dialysis treatment, if the person is 18 and below and 60 and above, correct?
How do you mean by new patients?
But what I mean is that if today, God forbid,
yeah,
I discover that my doctor tells me I have this problem and I have to go there today, so I'm a new patient. I'm not part of the list before. I've just been diagnosed with a problem today, and I go to Konfanotu Teaching Hospital today and I want a dialysis treatment, and I'm in the bracket where I'm covered for free. Do I get the treatment for free?
I'm sure they will treat you for free and submit the list to us.
But is that the directive? Because that is important for those who are listening to us tonight.
So let's get it clear. The doctors will not just put you on dialysis, okay? You might have gone through some processes first before you are put on dialysis. So what I would say is that we have informed the medical directors that they should let us know the new patients. If we know the new patients, we will know how to cover them. But the point is, anybody, and I'm stressing this because it's very important, 18 and below, that you need dialysis, it's actually free of charge.
And again, this includes new patients who may come on.
It will include new patients if we have the list. Because you see, initially, when we even started, when we were doing the deliberations, when I came here first, we had not had the list from Tamale Teaching Hospital and whole. It was immediately after I had finished with Ben, your colleague, that they rushed to send in the list. So once we have the list, then we
cater for them.
We cater for them.
Talking about the sustainability of this, it all boils down to the financial viability of the NHIS as it speaks right now. Today, we learned, following the meeting in Parliament, that the Finance Ministry owes you 2.4 billion CDs. How did that money come about? How did the Finance Ministry accrue that much debt?
Okay, thank you so much. I think this is very important. We've been working with the Finance Ministry to obviously release the outstanding debts. So we did reconciliation of the funds that were supposed to have come to the NHIA and how much releases.
Funds from?
The Ministry of Finance.
I mean, funds from the collections done
From the collection.
based on the various sources.
Yes, from the various sources. So we did the reconciliation, and we noted that actually they owe us 2.4 billion, as was spelled out by the chair of the Health Committee. So we had a meeting with the Ministry of Finance. Then they obviously asked us for a plan to pay.
So state contributions, the premium payments, all that is specified in law that the finance ministry collected that have them been paid to you?
No. So, you know, the NHIL is the one that goes to the consolidated account. That is the money we are talking about.
So that's the money you're talking about, yes. The National Health Insurance Levy?
Levy. That's the money we're talking, because that's what goes to the consolidated.
So that has been collected. It's gone straight to the consolidated account, but you haven't received it?
We haven't received all of it. So when we did the reconciliation, in fact, this was last week. We just finished the work last week. And they are gradually making their, obviously based on the schedule we came, based on the schedule we did, they've made some commitment. So today, Parliament also called us, and they have committed to paying all these outstandings. I'm sure the plan is for them to clear it by September, and they will fulfill it.
So they're giving you a roadmap?
They've given us a roadmap to clearing this debt.
By September? By
September.
And if that is the case, they shouldn't be accruing more between now. They should remain current.
They should remain current.
Are they remaining current? That's an important factor.
Yes, so that's what I'm talking about. So aside they meeting the debt responsibility, they will also be looking at the collections and be releasing them. I mean, it's the case that, for me, they just have to comply, because at the end of the day, if you've collected NHIL, and this is the purpose to which it is for. So once the warrant is issued, the controller must release the money to the NHIA.
Have they explained why they hold on to that money?
I think, you see, let's put it into perspective. You see, the thing is, the whole system needs reform. The whole system needs reform. And I'll tell you why. You see, if you are saying that we should obviously put it into the consolidated account, okay, a lot of things go into the consolidated account, so they have to spend time to do vetting and all those things. Then it's channeled through to the Ministry of Finance. The Finance will now do reconciliation, issue a warrant. Controller will now have to come in, because controller also have other pressures. So I think that we should find a way where in future, if the monies can be released from GRA to the NHIA fund, that would be the solution. The NHIA
so in other words, the NHIL, once collected, your proposal is that don't put it in the consolidated fund.
Yes.
Give it directly to
the NHIS fund. That's what it's meant for. And you see, the NHIS is actually sustainable over many years if we are receiving the funds. And I'm repeating it. It is sustainable for many years if we are receiving the funds. The only thing is, like I said, once we now start to roll in the preventive, promotive approach, which will further reduce the cost burden, but increase life expectancy of Ghanaians, make Ghanaians more healthier, and obviously meet our universal health coverage and also the sustainable development goals. That is fantastic. So those are the things that we actually need now.
These arrears you're talking about, the 2.4 billion, how has it affected your work? How has it affected your ability to remain effective in delivering on the scheme?
Okay, let me say that this money is not only to pay the facilities, it's also some of our capital projects. So, but the fact is, if you look at the last, from 2017 till now, I think government has actually done so well by committing to paying the facilities.
Yeah, I mean, but that's not my question. My question is that you are owed 2.4 billion. How has it affected the NHIS?
Obviously, we need money to run the scheme. So the point I want to make is that, you see, all we need is the funds for the sustainability of the scheme.
Have you paid your claims and have you paid it on time? Do you owe the service providers?
Okay. So, again, for the higher tiers, we owe. We owe from November 2023. It is just because we have only received money from, I think, if my memory serves me right, I think July. The controller,
you say money as in from the state?
From the state.
From the finance
yes,
ministry?
From the finance ministry. But the lower tiers is actually where we have most of our facilities. We are actually in date with our commitments because for the lower tiers, you see, and again, this is where I'm also talking about the reforms, you see. So if you are saying that the Act, the 852, says that immediately is paid to the Ministry of Finance, they should release the monies to us, right? But bear in mind, they have to do validation. So it's the contract that we have with the facilities which spells out that 3 months window for us to operate. So that is why the lower tiers, we owe them 3 months. So if you owe them 3 months, then it means that we are within our contract obligation. But for the higher tier, that is where we have the problem. And I have every assurance from the Ministry of Finance that they will be giving us the monies to bridge the gap.
How much money are you talking about when you say you owe the upper tier service providers?
I'll say we pay about 200 million per month. So if we owe them from November, you can.
So that's a 6 months thereabout.
About 6 months thereabout. So you can work the maths.
That's over $1 billion.
That's over $1 billion.
That's over $1 billion.
That's over $1 billion.
Okay.
But
so if you get your 2.4 billion, you
yes,
pay that off within a day.
We pay that off within a day.
Okay.
But definitely, I mean, you know, obviously, the situation in the country. And I believe that they are doing very well because it's not really easy. And for me...
Is the NHIS broke?
It's not broke, no. A scheme that is paying 250 million per month can never be broke. And if you owe me and I'm collecting my money, doesn't mean I'm broke. So I think we should just we should remove this concept of bankruptcy and it being broke in our minds because the NHIS can never be broke. It can never be broke, no. The only thing is that we know the sources of funding for the NHIS, so why should it be broke? It shouldn't.
And very finally, before we wrap up, for many people, they don't trust the card, the NHIS card, because you go to the hospital and some of the hospitals turn you away, even when the service is covered.
To come to the one who gave you the contracts. So for me, the illegal charges must stop as we negotiate or as we...
But those who turn away patients, although the service is covered in NHIS?
I'm not aware that...
I experienced that. That's my
why would they turn you...
they just turn you away.
Yeah, so as part of the reforms that I think should come in future, as been done is what we call, like, we can have pool procurement where obviously you procure the medicines and this thing in such a way that obviously you wouldn't be turned away from facilities.
Okay.
And if you are turning patients away, we should be able to know why you are turning them away.
Okay.
And again, this is why the government e-pharmacy program is very important because we will know which pharmacies do have it. You see, so the digital agenda is really massive. And we are obviously reforming the NHIS. So now on our database, we have about 6.3 million young people on the database who do not have the Ghana card. Instead of us using the money we have to procure our NHIS card for them, we are saying that we are ceding that money to the to the NIA.
To do that for them.
To do that for us. So once you formalize that system, then it becomes easy.
Okay.
And you know, when your Ghana card is your NHIS card, then the e-pharmacy and all the things, you can upload your and you are gone. So
Dr. Dacosta Boakye, thank you very much for joining us on this. And just before we go, and I'm just told that there's a fire outbreak at Kaswama 11, and they need the fire service there immediately. And do the rest of the evening.